You've been lied to. You've been told that manifesting your dream life is a game of endless work, complicated rituals, and perfectly worded affirmations. But here's the truth most people will never hear. If you keep chasing, if you keep forcing, if you keep trying to outwork the universe, you will fail. And you will keep failing until you understand what I'm about to tell you. The quantum field doesn't reward effort. It rewards alignment. Right now, every possibility already exists. Wealth and poverty, love and loneliness, health and disease. They are all waiting as waves of probability. And here is the terrifying part. Most people collapse the wrong wave. They obsess over what is missing. They vibrate in fear. They cling to scarcity. And the field mirrors it back without mercy. If you keep playing the old game, you will keep creating the old reality. Think about it. How many times have you repeated affirmations you didn't believe? How many times have you visualized an outcome you secretly doubted? How many nights have you forced yourself to think positive while your body was still drowning in stress? That is not manifestation. That is noise. And the quantum field does not respond to noise. Manifestation is not about begging. It is not about waiting. It is about collapsing into the version of you that already lives the life you desire. But here's the catch. The field will not wait forever. The longer you stay misaligned, the stronger your old reality locks you in. And if you don't break the loop now, you risk spending your entire life chasing shadows instead of living your destiny. So the question is this: are you ready to stop fighting? Are you ready to embody the signal that calls your dream life into existence? Because the window is open, but it will not stay open for long. Let me ask you directly. How many times have you given everything you had only to watch your life stay the same? How many mornings have you woken up with the same fears? How many nights have you gone to bed with the same silent frustration? You tell yourself tomorrow will be different. Yet tomorrow arrives and the cycle repeats. If you do nothing different, your future will look exactly like your past. That is the prison of misalignment. Science has already revealed this hidden truth. In quantum physics, the observer effect proves that attention shapes outcome. What you focus on changes what appears. When your energy is fractured, when your emotions are chaotic, the field reflects that chaos back. But when you bring coherence, when your mind and heart align, probability collapses into reality. That is not philosophy. That is physics. And yet most people never use it. They hear about manifestation, but they treat it like superstition. They stack affirmations on top of doubt. They visualize on top of fear. They pretend to feel abundant while their nervous system is still locked in scarcity. The result is predictable. Friction, noise, nothing changes. And each failed attempt convinces them the entire process is fake. They give up, and life hardens around them. But there is another way. Let me share a story. In New York City, there was a young woman who spent years chasing every manifestation technique she could find. She bought courses. She repeated mantras until her throat was raw. She built vision boards so detailed they looked like art projects. Yet nothing in her life shifted. Her career was stagnant. Her relationships crumbled. Her finances were in constant chaos. She was exhausted. One night, in total frustration, she stopped. She stopped chasing. She stopped trying to force outcomes. Instead, she asked herself a single question: who would I be if I already had the life I wanted? She dropped into her body. She breathed until her nervous system calmed. She imagined, not the picture, but the feeling. And for the first time, her energy shifted. Weeks later, a job opportunity came out of nowhere. Her relationships began to heal. Doors opened effortlessly. Why? Because she finally broadcast a clear signal instead of static. This is the secret no one tells you. Manifestation does not fail. People fail to align, and alignment begins with one choice: to stop forcing and start becoming dot. So I ask you again, how long will you keep running in circles? How long will you allow fear to dictate your frequency? How long will you watch opportunities slip through your fingers while you convince yourself you are not ready? If you do nothing, the loop will continue. But if you make a single shift, the entire field shifts with you. If this message is striking, accord, act right now, comment one word, say yes. That simple act signals a new alignment. It declares to the field that you are no longer asleep at the wheel. You are awake. You are present. You are claiming your role as creator, because reality is not waiting. The field is not waiting. Every second you hesitate, the old wave grows stronger. And if you are not careful, you will collapse a future of regret instead of a future of freedom. The choice is here. The urgency is real. This is your moment to step out of the noise and into alignment. So the final question for you is this: does reality reflect what you desire? Or is it reflecting the person you are choosing to be? Indeed, reality does not merely reflect what you want, it reflects the frequency you emit in every single moment. And that is the shocking truth that most people ignore. You believe reality is responding to your desires. But in truth, it is responding to your vibration. It is not your wishes that create. It is your state of being. If you vibrate in fear, fear is mirrored back. If you vibrate in scarcity, scarcity multiplies. If you vibrate in clarity, abundance is pulled toward you. So let me ask you, right now, what frequency are you broadcasting? When you wake in the morning, is your body heavy with stress? When you look at your bank account, does your chest tighten with dread? When you think about your dreams, do you feel hope or doubt? Because that signal, not your vision board, not your words, is what the field hears. Science has already revealed. This, deep inside your brain, is a network called the reticular activating system. The race is like the gatekeeper of your perception. It decides what information reaches you and what is filtered away. If you believe the world is full of danger, your race highlights threats. If you believe opportunities are everywhere, your race highlights openings. Your beliefs train your brain to search for evidence, and the evidence you find becomes the reality you live. This is not magic. This is neuroscience. And the most powerful people on this planet understand this truth. Oprah Winfrey said she built her empire by aligning with what she believed was possible. She trained her inner world until it became her outer world. Jim Carrey told the story of writing himself a check for $10 million in 1985. He carried that check for years, not because of the paper, but because of the signal it created inside him. In 1995, he signed a movie contract for exactly $10 million. Was that luck? Or was that consciousness collapsing probability into reality? So here's the question you must face. If celebrities, entrepreneurs, artists, and visionaries can align their consciousness and bend reality, why not you? What makes you believe you are different? The truth is, you are not different. You are simply broadcasting a weaker signal. Think about how many times you have dismissed your dreams because they felt too big. Think about how many times you laughed at your own imagination because it felt unrealistic. Think about how many times you sabotaged yourself because you believed success was for others, not for you. Every time you do this, you train your ass to ignore opportunity. You blind yourself to the door that is right in front of you. But what happens when you flip the switch? What happens when you decide to command your frequency instead of being a prisoner of it? What happens when you walk into every room as if you belong, when you speak every word as if you already own the life you dream of? Suddenly, your RAS shifts. Suddenly, your perception shifts. Suddenly, your entire world begins to rearrange itself around the new signal you emit. This is the art of conscious creation. This is what it means when we say awareness is the architect of reality. So I ask you directly, what signal are you sending in this moment? Is it the signal of defeat? Is it the signal of fear? Or is it the signal of someone who already knows they are entangled with their future success? You can change your frequency right now. You can declare your alignment in a single act. Comment below. Write a number. Write a dream. Write something you want to see in your reality. That act is not symbolic. It is energetic. It is a signal to your brain, to your nervous system, to the field itself. If you refuse to act, the loop will continue. Your RAS will keep filtering out the opportunities that could change your life. You will keep collapsing the same tired probability again and again. But if you choose to act, you begin training your system to expect more, to see more, to attract more. The difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is alignment. Those who rise become the frequency of their future before the future arrives. Those who stay stuck wait for the external world to change before they allow themselves to shift. So which will you be? Will you keep waiting? Or will you decide that today is the moment you broadcast a new frequency? Because here is the warning. If you do not command your signal, your subconscious will. And your subconscious is a ruthless master. It will replay every fear you ever believed. It will recycle every story you ever accepted. It will broadcast every limitation you ever absorbed. And you will collapse that wave again and again until your life becomes a perfect mirror of your deepest doubts. So let me leave you with this. What if your subconscious, the system controlling 95% of your behavior, is broadcasting a signal completely different from what you say you want? What happens then? That is exactly why, even when you want to change, the old subconscious still pulls you back into the same familiar loops. And this is the terrifying trap most people live in without ever realizing it. You think you are making choices. You think your conscious willpower is in control. But science shows us something shocking. Up to 95% of your daily actions are not driven by your conscious mind. They are automated programs run by your subconscious. Programs built from your past. Programs built from repetition. Programs built from trauma. So let me ask you directly, who is really in charge of your life? Is it you? Or is it the invisible patterns buried deep in your subconscious? You set goals. You make resolutions. You promise yourself this time will be different. But then weeks pass, and you fall back into the same habits, the same emotions, the same outcomes. Why? Because your subconscious is stronger than your conscious effort. Because the hidden software of your brain is running the show. But here is the truth that should electrify you. Neuroscience has proven that the brain is not fixed. It is not rigid. It is plastic. This is the science of neuroplasticity. Your brain can literally rewire itself. Synapses can weaken. Synapses can grow stronger. Neural pathways can be reshaped. Every time you repeat an action, every time you focus your attention, every time you create a new experience, you are reprogramming the operating system of your subconscious. So the real question is this: are you willing to consciously rewire your mind? Or will you continue to live as a prisoner of the old code? Let me tell you a story. A man from Texas, a military veteran, returned home with his nervous system shattered. Nightmares haunted him. His body lived in constant fight or flight. He tried medication. He tried therapy. Nothing worked. His subconscious was locked in the loop of trauma. His conscious mind wanted freedom, but his subconscious kept him chained. And he discovered a practice: guided visualization, meditation, daily repetition. He trained his mind to see peace instead of war, to feel calm instead of panic, to imagine safety until his body began to believe it. Slowly, his neural pathways shifted. Slowly, his subconscious accepted the new reality. And one day, the nightmare stopped. The weight lifted. The loop broke. Not because he forced it, but because he rewired it. This is the power of neuroplasticity. This is the hope science gives. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are programmable. And you can choose to be the programmer instead of the prisoner. But here is the danger. If you do not take control of your subconscious, it will keep replaying the same story. It does not care about your dreams. It only cares about what is familiar. And if pain is familiar, it will pull you back into pain. If failure is familiar, it will pull you back into failure. If scarcity is familiar, it will pull you back into scarcity. So I ask you right now, how long will you let the old code run your life? How long will you keep surrendering to the loops that steal your future? How long will you keep trying to fight with willpower when the real battlefield is in your subconscious? This is your wake-up call. If you have ever felt betrayed by yourself, if you have ever wondered why you sabotage your own progress, if you have ever cried out asking why you cannot change, this is why. Your subconscious is still broadcasting the old signal, but the solution is within reach through repetition, through visualization, through meditation, through conscious practice. You can send new signals. You can create new pathways. You can rewire your reality. Do not underestimate this. Every thought you rehearse is a wire. Every emotion you repeat is a groove. Every belief you feed is a program, which means every day you are either deepening the old loop or you are building the new one. So choose right now. If you have ever felt like your own mind was your enemy, claim your freedom. Type the word freedom in the comments. That single act is a declaration. That single act is the first step of rewiring, because your subconscious will not change until you command it to change. It is not passive. It is not gentle. It is a force. And if you do not direct it, it will direct you. And here is the most exciting part. When you begin to rewire your subconscious, you do not just change your mind. You change your body. You change your energy. You change the signal you broadcast to the quantum field. The field no longer hears the static of fear. It hears the clarity of alignment. And when that happens, your external world shifts in ways you once thought impossible. So let me leave you with this. What happens when the heart, the organ with an electromagnetic field 100 times stronger than the brain, begins to synchronize with your newly rewired mind? What happens when the subconscious and the heart beat in harmony? What kind of reality could you collapse then? When the heart and the brain unite, the signal you broadcast becomes coherent and impossible to ignore. This is not poetry. This is science. For centuries, mystics and spiritual teachers spoke of the power of the heart. They said the heart was more than an organ. They said it was a compass, a transmitter, a bridge between the seen and the unseen. And today, science is finally catching up. At the HeartMath Institute, researchers discovered that the heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field in the body, stronger than the brain, stronger than any other organ. This field extends several feet beyond your body. It influences not only your emotions, but also the emotions of those around you. Every beat of your heart is broadcasting into the quantum field. So let me ask you, what is your heart broadcasting right now? Is it stress? Is it fear? Is it scarcity? Or is it clarity? Is it gratitude? Is it love? Because here is the truth. When your brain is thinking one thing, but your heart is feeling another, the signal is fractured. The field hears noise. But when your heart and brain synchronize, When thought and emotion align, the field hears coherence. And coherence is power. Imagine two musicians, one playing out of tune, one playing in rhythm. Alone, they create chaos. But together, in harmony, they create music that moves the world. That is the power of heart-brain coherence, and science has shown the effects. When people practice heart coherence techniques, their stress levels drop, their immune system strengthens, their brain waves become more balanced, their intuition sharpens. They think clearer, they feel lighter, they act with greater confidence, not because they forced it, but because their internal orchestra finally played the same song. Now let me take you to Boston. A marathon runner had been training for years. He was strong, he was disciplined, but every time he reached the final miles, his body betrayed him. His energy collapsed. His mind screamed to quit. He finished, but never among the leaders. He was stuck in the loop of exhaustion. Then he learned about heart coherence. He practiced before every run. He placed his hand on his chest. He breathed slowly and deeply. He focused on gratitude. He imagined his heart and brain syncing like two dancers moving as one. At first, it felt strange, but then something shifted. His body relaxed even under pressure. His mind stayed calm even when the pain hit. In his next marathon, not only did he finish strong, he crossed the finish line as a champion. The crowd cheered, but he knew the victory was not just physical. It was energetic. His coherence carried him. This is what happens when the heart and brain unite. You become unstoppable. Your signal cuts through the noise of the world. Opportunities, people, and events respond to you as if pulled by an invisible magnet dot. So I ask you again, what would happen in your life if your heart and brain aligned? How many struggles would dissolve? How many doors would open? How many miracles would no longer be accidents, but natural consequences of coherence? That the warning is simple. If you keep living fractured, the field will keep reflecting chaos. If your mind says yes, but your heart says no, reality mirrors confusion, and you will stay stuck in the loop of resistance. But the invitation is even more powerful. You can align right now. This very moment, place your hand on your chest. Breathe in deeply. Feel gratitude for one thing in your life. Let your brain follow your heart. Let your heart guide your mind. This is coherence dot, and if you feel it, declare it. Comment the words, I am aligned. That is not just interaction. That is declaration. That is sending a signal into the field that you are ready to live coherent, not fractured. Because once you master this union, you do not just change your emotions. You change your biology. You change your brain chemistry. You change the reality. You collapse into existence dot. So here's the mystery that will keep you awake tonight. What happens when your brain no longer just reflects the present? What happens when it begins to predict the future based on the coherent signal your heart is broadcasting? What kind of destiny could you write then? Your brain is constantly predicting, and when you change the signal, you change the very future it sees. This is not philosophy. This is hard science. Your brain is not a camera passively recording reality. It is a prediction machine. Every second, it takes fragments of information, compares them to your past, and projects forward a future you expect to see. And here is the shocking truth. Most people are trapped because their brain is predicting tomorrow will look exactly like yesterday. The default mode network, the DMN, and the reticular activating system, the RAS, are the architects of this prediction. The DMN loops your past experiences into constant mental rehearsal. The RAS filters what you notice based on your beliefs and intentions. Together, they create a closed circuit. If you believe the world is scarce, your RAS filters out opportunity. If you rehearse failure in your mind, your DMN predicts more failure. The result, A self-fulfilling prophecy. So let me ask you, how many times have you walked past an opportunity and never saw it? How many times has the answer been right in front of you, but your brain filtered it out? How many times have you repeated the same mistakes because your subconscious expected you would? This is the prison of prediction, and most people never escape it. But here is the good news. Change the signal, and you change the forecast. When? You set a clear intention. When you visualize with conviction, when you embody the frequency of what you desire, your ass begins to search for evidence to confirm it. Your DMN begins to rehearse a new future instead of recycling the past. Suddenly, your brain stops predicting yesterday and starts predicting tomorrow. Let me tell you a story. In Los Angeles, there was an Uber driver. He was struggling to pay bills. Every ride felt like survival. He wanted more, but his brain was locked in scarcity. Then one day, he decided to test this principle. He set a clear intention. He declared to himself, "I will meet someone who changes my business future." He repeated it with feeling. He embodied it with certainty. Within weeks, a passenger entered his car. They began to talk. That passenger turned out to be a business leader. A conversation turned into a partnership, and his entire financial trajectory shifted. Did the opportunity appear out of nowhere? Or did his brain finally filter it in because his signal changed? Science would say both. The opportunity may have been there all along, but until he aligned his frequency, his RAS would have ignored it. This is why clarity is not optional. It is everything. Your brain cannot search for what you have not told it to find. Your RAS is waiting for instruction. And if you give it nothing, it defaults to your old fears. So I ask you right now, what do you want your brain to begin noticing? What do you want your nervous system to begin expecting? What do you want your DMN to rehearse in the background while you sleep? This is your moment to declare it. Do not wait. Write it in the comments. One word, one phrase, one vision. Let your brain know exactly what future to predict. That act is not symbolic. It is neurological. It is rewiring your filters. Because if you refuse to act, your brain will keep replaying the old film. And every day will look like the day before. You will collapse the same probability again and again until you call it destiny. But if you act, if you align, if you broadcast a new signal, your brain becomes your ally instead of your jailer. Your predictions become prophecies of success. Your filters become magnets for opportunity. Your DMN becomes a rehearsal for greatness instead of a rerun of regret. The choice is urgent. Every second you delay, your brain is strengthening the old loops. Every second you hesitate, the past grows heavier. Do you want to keep dragging yesterday into tomorrow? Or do you want to teach your brain to see a horizon it has never seen before? This is the hidden law of the mind. Change the signal, and you change the story. Change the story, and you change the future. So remember this. Your brain is constantly predicting, and when you change the signal, you change the very future it sees. And now the question becomes even sharper. How do you transform those predictions into real energy? How do you move from mental rehearsal to unstoppable action? What does it take to ignite the fuel that carries you from vision to reality? That is the moment when dopamine, the neurotransmitter of reward, turns belief into unstoppable drive. And this is where the secret of momentum lives. Most people think willpower is what carries them forward. They grit their teeth. They force themselves through fear. They push until they collapse. But science tells a different story. True motivation does not come from force. It comes from chemistry. Inside your brain is a system wired for survival. It releases dopamine when it senses reward is near. That spark of dopamine fuels your energy. It sharpens your focus. It pushes you to act. The brain does not wait until you achieve the goal. It rewards you the moment it believes the goal is possible. So let me ask you, what would happen if you could flip that switch at will? What would happen if you could make your brain release the fuel of motivation, not just by chance, but by design? The answer is in visualization. When you imagine with clarity, when you feel the victory in your body as if it already happened, your brain does not know the difference between vision and reality. It floods you with dopamine as though the reward is just around the corner. That rush becomes energy. That surge becomes drive. But here is the danger. If you imagine without conviction, if you visualize while doubting, your brain feels the conflict. The dopamine never comes. You are left exhausted. That is why so many people try to visualize and feel nothing. Their nervous system is still locked in fear. Their body is still broadcasting scarcity. The signal is fractured. The key is coherence. The image must be vivid. The emotion must be real. When thought and feeling align, dopamine flows like a river. Me share a story. In Silicon Valley, a young founder was preparing to pitch his startup. Investors had rejected him again and again. His confidence was fading. But before his next meeting, he tried something new. Every day for weeks, he sat quietly. He visualized walking into the room. He visualized shaking hands. He visualized the investors smiling. He felt the excitement in his chest. He rehearsed the moment until his nervous system believed it was inevitable. When the day arrived, he did not walk in with fear. He walked in with certainty. His body radiated confidence. His words carried conviction. The investors felt it. And for the first time, they said yes. They handed him $5 million in funding. His company was born, not because of luck, because his brain had already lived the victory before it happened. The dopamine had fueled his belief, and his belief fueled his performance. This is the hidden lever. Dopamine is not just chemistry. It is the bridge between thought and action. It is the force that transforms belief into behavior. And once you know how to activate it, you are no longer at the mercy of willpower. So I ask you now, how long have you tried to push your way to success? How long have you exhausted yourself fighting without fuel? How many times have you quit because the energy ran out? That ends here. You can ignite your brain's reward system at will. And if you want that power, claim it. Type the fire emoji in the comments. That single act is not just playful. It is symbolic. It is declaring that dopamine will become your ally, not your enemy. But the urgency is real. Because if you do not learn to control your dopamine, the world will control it for you. Distractions, addictions, quick hits of false reward. Every scroll, every click, every empty habit is hijacking your chemistry. They train your brain to expect instant gratification. And the longer you stay addicted to crumbs, the harder it becomes to pursue the feast. This is why clarity matters. This is why vision matters. When you choose a clear outcome and feed it to your brain, you reclaim control of your dopamine. You teach your system to crave progress instead of distraction, to seek purpose instead of comfort, to fuel greatness instead of mediocrity. So let me leave you with this burning question. How do you keep this fire alive when fear and stress attack every day? How do you protect your chemistry from being hijacked? How do you turn the spark of dopamine into a steady flame that carries you through the storm? This is the moment when mindfulness and breath pull you back to center, even in the middle of the storm. Because the truth is, storms will always come. Fear will rise. Stress will attack. Doubt will whisper in your ear. And if you do not know how to return to center, you will drown in the chaos. But when you master your breath, when you anchor into mindfulness, you become untouchable. Let me ask you, how often do you feel your body racing ahead of your mind? How often do you lie awake at night, heart pounding, thoughts spiraling, unable to escape the storm inside? How many times have you begged for peace, only to feel more trapped than before? Science gives us the answer. Inside your nervous system are two forces: the sympathetic system, the accelerator, driving you into fight or flight, and the parasympathetic system, the brake, restoring balance and calm. The problem is that most people live with the accelerator pressed to the floor. Constant stress, constant fear, constant urgency. The brake is forgotten. The body never rests. But there is a key: breath. Deep, mindful breath is the switch that activates the parasympathetic system. When you inhale slowly and exhale fully, your body signals safety, your heart rate slows, your cortisol drops, your brain waves calm. The storm begins to clear. This is not speculation. This is proven. Research shows that just a few minutes of mindful breathing can reduce stress hormones, improve focus, and even strengthen the immune system. The science is clear. Your breath is not just air. It is a control panel for your entire nervous system. And let me tell you a story. In Chicago, a CEO built a life of success but paid a hidden price. For 15 years, he relied on sleeping pills. Every night, he swallowed chemicals just to silence his mind. Every morning, he woke groggy, heavy, and disconnected. He lived in a prison of his own nervous system. Then one day, desperate for change, he tried mindfulness. Just 10 minutes. He sat still. He breathed deeply. He focused on the rise and fall of his chest. At first, it felt useless. But slowly, something shifted. His mind began to quiet. His body began to soften. For the first time in years, he fell asleep naturally. Weeks turned into months. The pills stayed in the bottle. The storm inside had finally broken. Not by force, by breath. This is the power you carry within you. You do not need pills. You do not need endless distraction. You need to remember the most ancient tool you already own: your breath. So right now, I invite you. Try it with me. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Do it 3 times. Feel your body respond. Feel the storm settle. And if you feel the shift, declare it. Comment the words, "I am back to center." That single action seals the experience. That single declaration aligns you with calm. But let me warn you, if you ignore this practice, the storm will control you. Stress will carve deep grooves into your body. Fear will burn into your brain. The longer you delay, the stronger the storm becomes. And one day, you may not be able to find your way back. So take the invitation now. Anchor yourself now, because the center is not a luxury. It is survival. And once you learn to return to center, something extraordinary happens. You realize you do not need to fight the storm. You only need to breathe through it. You learn that peace is not the absence of chaos. Peace is the mastery of presence within chaos. This is the gift of mindfulness. Not escape, empowerment, not weakness. Strength. So here is the question that rises next. Once you return to center, once you calm your nervous system, how do you learn the deeper art? The art of letting go. The art of surrender that unlocks the flow. Because returning to center is only the beginning. The real power is in release. And the moment you master it, the current of life will carry you further than force ever could. Because the more you try to control, the more resistance you create. And letting go is the paradox of liberation. This is the truth most people never want to face. You have been told to fight harder, to grip tighter, to chase with everything. You have, but has it worked? Or has every attempt to force reality only pushed what you desire further away? The paradox is simple. The harder you cling, the faster it slips. The tighter you hold, the weaker you become. Why? Because in the quantum field, forcing is friction, resistance is noise, and noise blocks the signal. Let me ask you, how many times have you pushed for love only to watch it run? How many times have you obsessed over money only to feel it vanish? How many times have you begged for success only to end up exhausted, defeated, and empty-handed? This is not failure. This is physics, the paradox of control. Psychology confirms it. The more you try to control your thoughts, the stronger they grow. Try not to think about fear, and fear becomes louder. Try to force happiness, and your body resists. Try to demand certainty, and chaos expands. So what is the way out? The way out is surrender. Not giving up, not weakness. True surrender is the art of releasing resistance. It is opening the hands that have been clenching too long. It is whispering to the universe, I trust the flow. And in that moment, power rushes back in. Let me tell you a story. In Seattle, there was a single mother. She carried the weight of 2 jobs, endless bills, and the constant fear that she would never make it. She tried everything. More hours, more hustle, more struggle. But the harder she pushed, the heavier life became. One night, exhausted and broken, she stopped. She sat alone, and for the first time, she released it. She said to herself, I cannot force this anymore. I allow life to show me the way. And something shifted. A week later, a conversation with a stranger opened a door. That door led to a job she had never imagined. Flexible hours, better pay, a chance to finally breathe. She did not get it by force. She received it when she let go. This is the paradox of liberation. The moment you stop fighting, the flow begins. The moment you stop demanding, the field delivers. So I ask you right now, what are you gripping so tightly that it is choking your future? What are you clinging to so hard that it cannot breathe? What would happen if you released it? What would happen if you dared to trust? And if you are ready to step into that trust, declare it. Type the words, I allow, in the comments. That act is not small. That act is surrender in motion. It is telling your subconscious that you are no longer its prisoner, because the truth is urgent. If you keep forcing, you will keep failing. The more you try to control, the more you create resistance. The longer you grip, the more you suffocate the flow. And if you do not release soon, the loop will consume you. But here is the invitation. When you surrender, the field responds. Doors appear. People arrive. Opportunities flow. Life itself bends to meet you. Because surrender is not weakness. Surrender is alignment. And alignment is the strongest force you will ever wield. So take this in. Breathe. Feel the release in your chest. Allow. Trust. Because when you do, the paradox becomes your liberation. And this brings us to the question that follows. When you let go, what remains? When control dissolves, what guides you? The answer is powerful. When you surrender, what is left is your higher self, your truest authenticity. So let me leave you with this. When you let go, what remains? Your higher self, your purest authenticity becomes the guide. And where will it lead you? When you let go, you return to your true self, and that is the most powerful frequency of all. Because in the end, reality is not responding to what you wish for. Reality is responding to who you are. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you embody. So let me ask you, who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when the mask falls away? Who are you when the noise fades and you stand alone with yourself? That is the signal the universe hears. That is the vibration the quantum field mirrors back. The tragedy is that most people spend their lives hiding. They put on masks to be liked. They bend themselves to be accepted. They imitate others to feel worthy. And then they wonder why nothing changes. They wonder why success slips away. They wonder why love feels hollow. The answer is simple. The signal is fractured dot, because when you pretend, the frequency is weak. When you fake it, the energy is scattered. When you betray yourself, the field cannot respond. Authenticity is not optional. It is the core of creation dot, and here is the paradox. Many people think being authentic is risky. They fear rejection. They fear criticism. They fear being too much or not enough. But the truth is, inauthenticity is far riskier. Pretending costs you your power. Hiding costs you your alignment. And every time you fake it, you collapse a reality that is not yours. Science proves it. Studies in psychology show that congruence, the alignment of belief, emotion, and behavior, creates the strongest influence on others. People sense when you are real. They sense when your words and your energy match. Authenticity attracts. Inconsistency repels. Let me tell you a story. A YouTuber in America chased fame for years. He copied trends. He exaggerated his persona. He faked excitement. And for years, nothing worked. His channel stagnated. His views barely grew. He was exhausted from pretending. Then, one day, he made a different choice. He stopped acting. He sat in front of the camera and spoke honestly. He shared his struggles. He revealed his doubts. He showed his flaws. It was raw. It was imperfect, but it was real. And something happened. The video exploded. Millions watched. Millions resonated. Because finally, he was authentic. That shift built his career. That shift created the life he had been chasing, not by pretending, by being dot. So here's the challenge for you. What truth are you hiding? What part of yourself have you locked away because you fear it will not be accepted? And what would happen if you released it? Because here is the warning. If you keep living behind a mask, the mask will become your prison. If you keep betraying your truth, your life will be a reflection of the lie. And one day, you will wake up surrounded by everything you do not want, wondering why you never felt alive. But here is the invitation. If you dare to live authentic, your frequency becomes unstoppable. Your words gain weight. Your energy becomes magnetic. The universe responds not to your facade, but to your essence. And that essence is more powerful than any strategy, any script, any mask you could wear. So I ask you now, what is the truest word that describes you? Write it. Declare it. Comment it below. That act is not just interaction. It is initiation. It is choosing authenticity over illusion, because the truth is urgent. You cannot afford another day of pretending. Every second of inauthenticity drains your life force. Every moment you fake, it costs you alignment. And alignment is the only currency that the quantum field accepts. So breathe. Remember who you are and speak it. Not for me, not for anyone else, for you, for the signal that only you can broadcast, for the reality that only you can collapse into being. And here's the question that burns at the edge of this truth. If your authenticity merged fully with your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, if every layer of your being became one coherent signal, what kind of reality would you create then? When you unify, reality has no choice but to bend toward you, because coherence is power. When your thoughts point one way, but your emotions scream another, and your actions contradict them both, the field hears static, noise, chaos. When thought, emotion, and action converge into a single frequency, the signal becomes undeniable. Ask yourself this. How often have you sabotaged your own vision? How many times did you think of abundance, yet feel fear in your chest while acting from scarcity? How many times did you declare love, yet carry resentment, while treating others with distance? That fracture kills manifestation. That dissonance collapses nothing but confusion. But when you align, when thought says yes, emotion says yes, and action says yes, the quantum field has no option but to respond. That alignment is rare. That alignment is magnetic. That alignment bends probability itself. Science proves it. Neuroscience calls it coherence. Psychology calls it congruence. Physics calls it resonance. But they all point to one truth. Unified signals move matter. Unified energy bends reality. Unified beings create worlds. Let me tell you a story. In New Orleans, there was a jazz musician. For years, he played safe. He copied styles. He tried to fit in. He suppressed his own sound because he thought no one would listen. And so his career stagnated. His music went unheard. His passion faded. One night, he snapped. He decided to play only the music that burned inside him. No masks, no compromise, just raw authenticity. He poured his thoughts, his emotions, and his actions into one frequency, and the world felt it. His performances caught fire. Audiences wept. Videos of his shows went viral. Within a year, his career exploded. Not because he forced, because he unified. So what about you? Where are you fractured? Where are you saying one thing, but feeling another? Where are you acting against the truth that you claim? Because until you unify, reality cannot bend. Until you merge, the field cannot mirror. This is not optional. This is urgent. Every day you remain divided, your signal weakens. Every moment you live split, your reality fractures. And if you continue, you will not only lose your dream, you will lose yourself. But here is the invitation to step into coherence, to merge thought, emotion, and action into one clear signal, to live the yes across every layer of your being. And when you do, reality bends, doors open, people appear, miracles move. So I call on you now. If you are ready to unify, declare it. Type the words, I unify, in the comments. That act is not just a statement. It is an initiation. It is proof to yourself and to the field that you are done with division. Because the truth is simple. Coherence creates power, and incoherence kills it. The field is waiting for your yes. Not your half yes. Not your fractured yes. Your full yes. So breathe this in. See the alignment. Feel it in your chest. Act on it with your hands. Merge it with your life. Because when you do, reality has no choice but to obey. And now the question rises. If you can unify, if you can collapse. A coherent signal so powerful that reality itself bends. What is the final step to step fully into the role of creator of your reality? Right now, you are no longer the seeker, you are the creator. This is the shift. The moment where everything you have learned, everything you have practiced, everything you have struggled through finally clicks into place. You are not chasing. You are not begging. You are not waiting. You are creating. And creation does not come from desire alone. Creation comes from being, because the truth is clear. You do not manifest what you wish for. You manifest what you are. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your coherence, they shape the signal you send into the field. And the field, without hesitation, mirrors it back. So ask yourself, who are you right now? What frequency are you broadcasting in this moment? Are you still sending signals of fear, of doubt, of scarcity? Or are you stepping fully into alignment, authenticity, and coherence? That choice is everything. That choice is destiny. This journey is not a single step. It is not a one-time ritual. It is evolution. It is expansion. Every breath, every decision, every word spoken becomes part of the signal you send. And reality bends in response. Let me tell you a story. In California, a small group of friends gathered each week. They called it a manifestation circle. But it was not just visualization. It was commitment. Each member spoke their dream out loud. Each wrote it down. Each declared it publicly in front of the group. And something extraordinary happened. Within months, doors opened. One landed a dream job. Another found love. Another launched a business. They were not more talented than you. They were not luckier than you. They chose alignment. They chose to step into their role as creators. And by declaring their commitment, openly, they multiplied their energy. That is the invitation for you, to stop hiding your dreams in silence, to stop whispering your desires only in your mind, to speak them, to write them, to declare them. Because the moment you commit, the field listens. And the field responds, Doc, so here's what I ask of you now. Comment one word of commitment below. Just one. Write it. Declare it. Release it into the field. And watch as the shift begins. This is not superstition. This is energy in motion. This is the law of coherence at work. And do not stop there. Tap the heart. Save this message. Share it with someone you love. Because energy multiplies when it is shared. Momentum expands when it is collective. When you act together, the power becomes exponential. Subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. Not as a casual gesture, as a declaration that you are walking this path, as proof that you will not slip back into the loop, as a reminder that this is your evolution and you refuse to miss the next step. And finally, thank you. Out of millions of videos, you chose this one. Out of countless voices you listened here. That choice matters. That choice is alignment. And I ask you now, leave your feedback. Tell me what resonated. Tell me what moved you. Because together, we build a channel not of empty content, but of real transformation. Do you feel it? The urgency, the pull, the fire in your chest. This is not entertainment. This is activation. This is your reminder that you are no longer waiting. You are no longer pretending. You are no longer fractured. You are whole. You are aligned. You are the creator of your reality. So let me leave you with this truth. Creation does not wait. Life does not pause. The field is responding right now. The only question is, what are you telling it? Declare it. Commit it. Live it. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer the seeker. You are the creator, and the world will bend to meet you.